Hello, I'm Mark Barbour. I'm the director and the curator of the International Printing Museum in Carson, California, just outside of Los Angeles. What we have here is a 1850 era English hand press. This is a tabletop model. This press is contemporary to the printing presses of Charles Dickens. In fact, the word Albion on this press actually means England. And this press appeared just after about 1820 to 1830. The English had the first metal printing press in 1800 at the start of the Industrial Revolution. And these presses were manufactured and used throughout the 19th century, well into the first quarter of the 20th century. The printing process here that I'm about to show you and demonstrate for you is a process that dates back really to the time of Gutenberg in 1450. Not much was different other than the fact that the printing press in the 19th century was now made out of cast iron and not out of wood. All of your books and newspapers of this time were all put together from the typecases here, one letter at a time, as I'm about to show you. And they would assemble the letters together, put the letters inside your printing press, and then press it onto the paper. This book here, for example, was all hand set, one letter at a time. And printed on paper that was also made by hand. In the process of printing, we have a typecase. Your font or your letters would actually be made and cast in metal. The letters themselves will appear on the type itself in reverse. They're placed inside of a tray, what we call a case. Your lowercase letters are on the bottom part of the case, the common ones in the center with the bigger boxes, so it's broken up by the usage of letters in our English language. So the more popular letters in the center, the most popular letter is the letter E, so it has the largest box. T, H, E, A, R, I, S. Z's, X's, and the K's are not used much, they're on the edge, along this top row here. But then your capitals are alphabetical over here, beginning with the letter A, ending with the letter Z. This became known as your uppercase letters and your lowercase letters. That is a printer's word that we use. In setting a book or an article for a newspaper, the compositor will stand in front of the case with a device in his hand, which is known as a stick, and it's held almost like you're holding a bat, your thumb on the inside. And then you're going to assemble the type together one letter at a time. And you put the type out of the case, one letter at a time, letter by letter, word by word, line by line, paragraph by paragraph. You get all of your letters together, and then you'll take all your letters, begin to build up an entire page, and put them inside of your printing press. When you're done with your printing, of course, you're going to take the ink off all the letters, and then you, of course, have to put them all away, hopefully in correct order. The printing press itself, if you look on the inside here, we have our tray with our letters. These are all individual letters that have been assembled together. If you want an illustration in your printing, it has to be carved out of a block of hard wood backwards. So they literally take a knife in the hard block of wood, what's known as end-grained maple. You carve out the image. What's left raised is what we'll be printing. That is known as a wood engraving. This is a process of illustration that really took off at the beginning of the 19th century. It was very strong during the Victorian period. All of your illustrations for your books and your newspapers were done as a wood engraving, whether it's a small engraving such as this one, or a full-size engraving, an image that might be in your magazine that maybe one of Dickens' articles could have appeared in. Obviously it takes a long time to create an illustration. That's why you don't see a lot of illustrations in average or common books. It was an expensive addition to the publication. Your type would be locked in, and then it's tightened so nothing moves. First thing we have to do is put ink onto our letters. The ink itself, which dates back to the days of Gutenberg, is a thick black paste made out of soot out of your fireplace, plenty of which was there in Victorian England, mixed with boiled linseed oil, a plant oil. It makes it into a thick black paste. In fact, if I took my ink can and turned it upside down, it won't come out. Yet it is still in there and will come out with an ink knife. We won't take any out right now. We would spread the ink out with an ink roller or a brayer. We spread it out on a table, and then we're going to ink up our letters. Every time you want to print, one of the operators, one of the pressmen will apply ink to his letters. Your paper itself will be placed on the opposite side of the press. This is known as our tympan. This is known as the frisket. The frisket will hold the paper in place. We're going to bring our paper down on top of our letters. We're going to roll the handle underneath. Then the operator is going to take the lever and squeeze, creating the pressure. Every print goes through this process. This is, of course, a small version of the press. This is one of the smallest ones that they made, the Albion press. They go up to a full size that would actually print your newspapers or your books. And we have our printed sheet. The printer is the friend of intelligence, of thought. He is the friend of liberty, of freedom, of law. Indeed, the printer is the friend of every man who is the friend of order, the friend of every man who can read. A quote by Charles Dickens. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed learning a little about the printing world of Charles Dickens. He was very much involved in graphics and publications and writing, and these were the presses contemporary to his time that brought his words to life for literally millions of people. Thank you.